Urgent, Moscow has been encircled. A lightning breakthrough by the armed forces of Ukraine. Hundreds of drones have broken into Russia. The country is shaken by a massive attack. The Russian capital is paralyzed. Russians are trapped in airports. A missile Armageddon has begun. At the same time, a new grand decree from London. Britain is deploying its military. John Healey will be the first to do this. Boris Johnson is pushing to the fullest. A foreign army will enter the front right now. Ukraine is ready to break in with force. Shock. Trump is preparing a meeting between Zelensky and Putin. The final position. Washington is now more supportive of Kyiv than of Moscow. A clear signal. This is terrifying. The sky has turned into a trap for Putin. The Russian Federation is losing its wings. Helicopters and planes are falling one after another. And all of this happened just now. Hello, I'm Darina Hotsakalo, and we're getting started. Now it's official, Armageddon has truly begun in Russia. A series of powerful explosions has engulfed the capital. Moscow is shrouded in smoke, and Putin can no longer hide the consequences of the attacks. The country is trembling, chaos is unfolding before everyone's eyes. Social media channels were all shouting that up to 100 drones were flying toward Moscow. A swarm of combat birds approached more confidently than ever before.
A drone was flying. I've never seen this before.
Moscow's Mayor Sobyanin proudly announced the downing of 21 drones over the heads of Russians. The sky over the capital turned into a trap. Rosaviatsia urgently closed 4 airports at once: Vnukovo, Domodedovo, Zhukovsky, and Sheremetyevo. It seems 2 Zhukovkas got out of control. But the fiery whirlwind was not put on pause. The shockwave swept from Moscow to Belgorod. Belgorod suffered one of the most powerful combined attacks since the beginning of the war. A high-value target was hit: the Frunzenskaya electrical substation and the Belgorod CHP.
That was the CHP.
A harsh reality descended on the Russians. And indeed, there was no light, no water, no heat in the homes. The regional governor Gladkov confirmed that the Ukrainian armed forces literally pounded the region with missiles. As a result of the devastating strikes, the energy infrastructure went offline.
Belgorod has been left without power again. Only the cars are shining their headlights. Well, not blinding, just shining. Both blinding and shining. Just a shadow on the beard. Intensely fiery, glowing, and incredibly bright.
The torch was picked up by Tatarstan as well. A massive fire broke out at the strategic Kalykino oil depot. Putin's oil vein is burning with the fire of our revenge.
What exactly is this? Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this.
Something is burning over there. I don't know if it's allowed or not, but there's warm water in the sky there.
Pay special attention to Kalykino. It is here that the Hungarian-Slovak dreams of Russian oil and gas dependence can be stopped. And make life harder for Belarus. Make it much harder.
Things were also tense in Saratov. Dozens of explosions and panic among Russians. The local authorities are convincingly lying that all aerial targets were shot down. Voronezh is not lagging behind either. Z channels are shouting about heavy smoke in the industrial zone near the factory. There's widespread hysteria. Drones have reached even the most remote locations. This can no longer be hidden. The battle for life continues. Doctors have already done the impossible to help the severely wounded hero, but ahead lies not just recovery, but a series of complex surgeries. You can find all the details on how to help our defender in the description below the video. A sensation: British troops in Ukraine. The UK Minister of Defence, John Healey, is ready to take a sensational step, sending soldiers directly to the front lines. This is not just a decision, but a signal to all of Europe. The war is on the verge of ending and peace is near. The intrigue grows with every minute. I
want to be the Minister of Defense who sends British troops to Ukraine, because that would mean the end of this war. It means that we have reached a peace agreement in Ukraine, and a safe Europe needs a strong, sovereign Ukraine.
However, former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson urged not to waste time, but to do it right now, saying that troops should be sent even before a peace agreement is reached.
If we plan to deploy troops on the ground after the war, after Putin agrees to a ceasefire, then why not do it now? So that these people are not involved in combat operations.
I honestly do not see any logical reason as to why we should not send peacekeeping ground troops there.
The head of Ukraine himself also struck with determination. Volodymyr Zelensky made a new statement and shocked everyone. Britain and France are ready to send one military brigade each, that is, up to 5,000 soldiers from each country. The key issue remains the deployment of troops from our partners. A foreign contingent is needed closer to the front, not in the rear.
Of course, no one wants to be on the front line. But Ukrainians would like our partners to stand beside us. That makes sense.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
You need to know about this urgently, and you should be the first to hear it. The United States is preparing a meeting between Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff has revealed the first details.
It might be a trilateral meeting with President Trump participating. We'll see. He doesn't want to meet unless he's sure he can bring the matter to a conclusion. He has a unique ability to do that.
Moreover, Steve Witkoff is counting on good news regarding Ukraine and Russia in the coming weeks.
It is my sincere hope that, in the next 3 weeks, you will receive some very positive news.
Nevertheless, President Zelensky himself noted that victory is a combination of steps and named how Washington can actually stop Putin.
They need to actively work to stop the Russians. Not just try to appease or negotiate with them, because they will continue to lie to them regardless.
US President Donald Trump is now closer to Kyiv than to the Kremlin. Volodymyr Zelensky admitted this in an interview with the BBC. Contacts with Trump's Ukrainian counterpart are much more active than with the Russian dictator. Even more interestingly, Trump's special representative Steve Witkoff actually meets with the Ukrainian side more often than with Moscow. It seems that Ukraine is gaining more and more influence in Washington. This has never happened before. Putin's aviation is falling apart before everyone's eyes. Aircraft are crashing one after another. The Ukrainian armed forces are methodically destroying the wings of the Russian army. Drones took out 2 helicopters at once, a multi-purpose Mi-8 and an attack K-52 Alligator in the Oriol region.
The helicopters have been destroyed. They are beyond repair.
It is likely that the Russians are using this site as an operational airfield for a consolidated helicopter unit tasked with intercepting Ukrainian long-range UAVs. However, it seems this is only the beginning of misfortunes on the enemy's territory. The day before, in the southern direction, our soldiers professionally shot down another much-hyped Su-34 fighter bomber. Just a day before that, a Mi-8 crashed spectacularly in the Yamalo-Nenets region. And also the day before, a helicopter carrying security forces crashed in the Amur region. The Empire's wings are melting before our eyes. Urgent. Could it really have happened? Anti-drone defense over Ukraine is already in action. The sky is being closed to Shaheds, and Russia is rapidly losing its aerial trump cards. It's hard to believe, but the balance in the sky is changing right now. The internet is abuzz with talk of unprecedented reinforcement. They say the sky over Kyiv is no longer a free-for-all. For the occupiers, it is turning into a real trap. What other surprises are our forces preparing to finally break the scenario of Russian attacks? Let's figure it out further. News.
Ukrainian air defense this year will become more reliable, more accurate, and most importantly, there will be much more of it. Thus, since the beginning of February, the defense forces began to show phenomenal results in destroying enemy air targets. And this primarily concerns drones. Public analysts say this is connected to the new concept from the Ministry of Defense and personally from Minister Fedorov, who is actively promoting the idea of an anti-drone dome over Ukraine. This is
a whole system of early warning, early detection in the form of radars, 3D radars. Then there are closer range detections when the information is transmitted to the detection system of the strike complex itself. For example, this could be a missile strike complex or kinetic shells and cartridges.
It is worth noting that advanced radars are already operating in Ukraine, such as Cerberus. These are capable of detecting and tracking up to 500 targets simultaneously. At the same time, during the recent Ramstein meeting, the Allies committed to providing us with additional radars, as well as a large amount of military equipment to strengthen our air defense.
As a result of Ramstein, the partners confirmed one of the largest budgets for supporting Ukraine, $38 billion for 2026. We hope for the fastest possible delivery times.
It has also become known that Ukraine will soon receive a large batch of AIM missiles, which our defenders use to shoot down Russian cruise missiles and jet-powered drones. This was reported by the Ministry of Defense press service. These missiles have been in service with the armed forces of Ukraine for several years. In particular, they are used with F-16 aircraft and NASAM's ground-based air defense systems.
NATO must do everything necessary now to ensure that when it comes to air defense and other weapon systems, we are doing everything possible to provide all that we can.
By the way, the need to increase the supply of missiles for the F-16 may also be related to another recent piece of news. According to Western journalists, it is not only Ukrainian armed forces pilots who have recently been flying in Ukrainian skies. The publication Intelligence Online, citing its sources, writes that an entire squadron of foreign pilots from the US and the Netherlands has been created in Ukraine. Pilots
of the international F-16 unit often patrol the area during nighttime Russian attacks,
in order to ensure a faster response to aerial threats and to maximize radar coverage. The most significant contribution of Western veterans to Ukraine's air defense structure lies in their experience and skills in using the fighter jet's high-precision sensors. In particular, the sniper targeting pod, Lloyd Martin. The ultra-precise electro-optical infrared system is used for long-range identification, tracking fast-moving targets, and striking in adverse weather conditions.
The Ministry of Defense has not officially confirmed this information, but it is openly stated that a comprehensive reform of the air defense forces is underway. For example, within the structure of unmanned systems forces, units of interceptor drones are now being actively formed. These have already improved the effectiveness of air defense and often help save more expensive missiles for other targets.
The sheer number of these sophisticated drones currently in the air is a significant problem of scaling, not only regarding the strike drones and anti-drones themselves, but also in terms of the massive challenge of scaling the professional pilots and the extensive training programs required for them.
Journalists also managed to find out that as part of the Ramstein agreements, additional Norwegian NASAM's air defense systems are to be supplied to arm small fire groups along with the same AIM missiles and similar equipment from other partners.
Short-range systems, these are usually either wheeled or tracked autonomous vehicles, to which a variety of sophisticated sensor systems are securely attached. They continuously monitor and observe their immediate surroundings. They have the ability to move independently, and some can even fire their weapons while doing so. But above all, these are things that are capable of moving at remarkably high speeds.
Even though the continuous strengthening of Ukrainian air defense is currently ongoing, analysts note that it is specifically in 2026 when our brave defenders of the sky will finally demonstrate truly unprecedented and remarkable results. For example, on the night of February 17th, when 20 out of 20 Kh-101 missiles, 4 out of 4 Iskander missiles, and over 360 drones were destroyed.
Urgent, an explosion in the heart of Washington. Americans are expelling Trump. Shock. The US leader has found himself in a dead end. The consequences of his policies have hit him hard right before everyone's eyes. The people can no longer be stopped. Approval ratings are plummeting rapidly. The Democrats are triumphant. Trump is losing ground. It seems the timer has been set. However, what is really happening in the US without embellishment? Don't miss what's next.
America is waking up.
The slogan of the people on the streets in the US is, "There will be no monarchs."
Millions of Americans are showing the door to a president who imagined himself a king.
I
am not a king. I am working tirelessly to make our country great. That's all there is to it. I am by no means a king.
In just 1 year as president, Donald Trump managed to accumulate a huge baggage of scandals, quarrels, unpopular decisions, and statements.
Every single one of these countries is absolutely dying to make a deal with us. They constantly kiss my ass and say, please, please, sir, we are begging you to make a deal. We will do absolutely anything you want, sir.
While the President of the United States is doing everything possible to alienate Washington's historic allies and friends abroad inside the country, the approval rating of the White House leader is being dragged down by killer agents from the Immigration Service. Wow, that is absolutely incredible and truly beyond belief, don't you think? Millions of Americans have experienced it firsthand. When the President of the United States openly shows contempt for people, his appointees recklessly endanger the lives of others.
You are despicable. You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you.
Yet another significant political gift for the Democrats, which negatively impacted Donald Trump's ratings, was the widely discussed and controversial Epstein files.
American politics is getting closer to the midterm elections in the fall of 2026. It is increasingly resembling a confrontation between two warring camps, Democrats and Republicans. And this is certainly not what we would call constructive discourse. It is not at all about making genuine proposals, but rather, it is the language of compromat and the use of dirty political tactics.
It is worth noting that in the declassified materials released by the US Department of Justice, Trump's name is mentioned thousands of times, as well as that of his former close associate, the financier and pedophile, and also his inner circle, ranging from Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to billionaire Elon Musk.
From Jeffrey Epstein to Elon Musk. How many people will be in the helicopter flying to the island? Elon Musk's answer. Probably just Tallulah and me, on whichever night the wildest party on our island will be.
As a result, various independent American sociological agencies are noting a worrying trend for the Republicans. The so-called neutral voters, who played a decisive role in Trump's victory in the 2024 elections, are now turning toward the Democrats.
Democrat Taylor Reckmet won a seat in the Texas State Senate in a district where Trump had previously secured victory with a 17-point lead.
In response, trying to regain what was lost, the Trump administration is betting on an even greater division within society. The principle of, if you're not with us, you're the enemy, as well as demonstrations of strength and success on the international stage.